It's Sunday somewhere in Ontario, and I know it's a week late, but it's a new episode of 2 Drink Minimum. We're at episode 9, almost at the 10 mark. Close. Almost there. Still only 8 subscribers. Anyway, big show today. I'm going to cover reviews for a bunch of the movies that are up for Best Picture this year. Potentially. They haven't announced the nominees yet, but from the early buzz from the Golden Globes and everything else, it looks like these will be the front runners. And we're also going to go over some Blu-Ray release dates that are coming up in the next few months. Anyway, to start off with, I did watch the screeners for a number of different movies. It's on my little cheat list here. I saw Arrival with Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner. I saw Moonlight. I saw La La Land. Hacksaw Ridge. I'm almost finished. And I watched Silence last night, which is the new Martin Scorsese film. We'll start with Arrival. Denis Villeneuve directed it. Also did the movie Prisoners with Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal from a few years back, and is currently directing the new Blade Runner 2049 movie that comes out this October. Basic premise of the movie was aliens arrive from outer space. These big, huge pods come dropping down, and Amy Adams is tasked, since she's a linguist, to try to find a way to communicate with these aliens, because nobody knows how to. So the movie opens with her basically going through her daughter, I'm guessing, is dying of cancer or something of that sort. And as her daughter passes away is when the aliens first arrive, and like I said, she's tasked with trying to find a way to communicate with these guys. Very weird movie. A little slow in parts, but visually not bad. Good acting job across the board from Renner and Adams. Forrest Whitaker's in it also. He's popping up in a lot of stuff lately. The weird thing with this movie was it's kind of... the beginning is the end is the beginning. Spoilers, obviously, if you haven't seen this. They finally... she figures out there's like these almost like hieroglyphic sort of things that the aliens use to communicate, and she basically deciphers it all. And it turns out that she's got the ability of being able to see into the future, which not many people in the world can do. And what ends up happening is that at the end of the movie, she winds up with Renner and has a child. And then everything that happened at the beginning of the movie happens at the end, but her acceptance of it all going on, like, she has the option, obviously, of not having it happen at all, but goes through with it anyway, despite the emotional pain that it will cause her in the long run, sort of thing. Really good movie, though. Probably going to get a nod for Best Picture. Probably Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Visual Effects, Best Director, maybe. But, yeah, it was worth checking out, definitely. Next one I saw was Moonlight. Wasn't sure what to think of this one. It's based on a play, apparently. Premise, again, is this young black kid growing up in Miami, and I'm guessing like the early 80s kind of thing. And it's broken into 3 parts, I guess three chapters. One when the kid is really just like 11, 12 years old, jumps to when he's about 16 or 17, and then the last segment is when he's in his like probably late 20s. Really well acted. Not a lot of really big known actors in this movie. Naomi Harris, who played Moneypenny in the Bond films lately, plays his drug addicted mother. Really strong performance from her. Very against type for her, I've heard. She in real life is very much against like drinking coffee or smoking cigarettes or anything like that. Doesn't want to portray any sort of negative stereotypes when in her roles, but she was fantastic in this. Cottonmouth from Luke Cage. I'm gonna have to figure out how to pronounce his name. Mashira Ali. Amazing. He's only in the first chapter of the movie, but he plays this basically drug dealer who comes across the kid and becomes almost like a surrogate foster father figure, big brother kind of thing to the boy when he's really young. There's this one great scene where he shows up and they go down to the beach and he teaches him how to swim. And apparently in real life, Ali basically took this kid into the ocean and legit taught him how to swim while they were shooting this movie. Very, very well done film. Some people may be put off a little bit because it does sort of delve into the kid's sexuality when it hits the second chapter and the fact that he's actually homosexual, but it's really well acted and well directed as to how this kid goes from, he's getting beaten up when he's a little kid and bullies picking on him at school, and then he's struggling with trying to find his identity, and ends with him reconnecting at the end with a childhood friend. A great film. Like I said, not a lot of really big name actors in it, but definitely worth checking out if you want to see some really strong acting performances. The little kid especially was brilliant. Just well put together movie altogether from top to bottom. Next one would be Hacksaw Ridge. I'm only about, I think I'm over halfway through it. New Mel Gibson movie, World War II, based on a true story. A conscientious objector played by Andrew Garfield, who goes into the army and it's like, I will not pick up a rifle. I will not take a life, no matter what you do. It's against my beliefs entirely. Good turn by Garfield. I'll get to it in a second with Silence also, but the last time I've really seen him in anything was Spider-Man. And we all know how that went, but the kid's got talent. I mean, Hacksaw Ridge and Silence, obviously two very different roles, but he's proven that he can do a lot more than just like, holy web slinger Batman kind of thing. Well, crossing the streams there anyway. Vince Vaughn playing, I guess, his best imitation of Arlie Emery from Full Metal Jacket, drill sergeant kind of thing. Really good movie, very violent. Be warned of that. It's definitely not a kid's film. Long too. I think it's probably over 2 hours. Like I said, I'm almost finished it. I'll give a full 5 cents worth in the next few episodes when I'm finally done it. But again, strong contender for Best Picture. Definitely worth seeing. Nice to see Mel Gibson actually back behind the camera doing some directing. Despite his BS, like ranting and raving, alcohol-fueled past, the guy's a good director. He definitely knows how to put a picture together and all the rest. Next one would be Silence. That's the one I watched last night. New Martin Scorsese film about the Jesuit priests who go to Japan to try to find the missing priest who they basically think he defected and became a Japanese person and renounced his faith. Andrew Garfield again, Adam Driver, Kylo Ren, and Liam Neeson playing the missing priest. Beautifully shot. All of the cinematography in this is just outstanding. There's one shot near the beginning where they're walking down these steps from the church or temple or wherever they are, and it's shot sideways, and it looked amazing. Like just these three figures just walking down the steps, beautifully shot. Apparently all shot on location in like Taiwan and Japan and all those places. So legit scenery, no like backstage sort of BS that Hollywood tries to pull off sometimes, green screen and all that sort of thing. Great turns by Andrew Garfield and Adam Driver. Liam Neeson's not in it as much. There's a bit near the end, spoilers, where Garfield's basically been captured by the Inquisitor and they're trying to make him renounce his faith and give up God kind of thing and convert. But also really great acting by a lot of unknown actors playing the Japanese villagers, the old man especially in the first village they go to, and their guide, who they're thinking is just some drunk fool, turns out to be a devout Christian, with a lot of issues along the way, always asking for Garfield to give him, let him do his confession and renounce his sins and stuff. Strong performances across the board, though. Again, very, very long movie. But if you stick with it, some great acting. I'm not going to go into spoilers on it. Obviously, movies like this that are especially up for award consideration, you've got to see for yourself to get your 2 cents worth available for it. And finally, La La Land, which is arguably my pick for Best Picture of the Year. Yes, I said it. Hardcore musical, so anybody who doesn't like musicals, you're gonna fucking hate this movie. But if you like musicals, pretty much by the first scene where everybody's stuck in gridlock traffic on an overpass in LA, and all of a sudden everybody starts getting out of their cars and singing and dancing. Fantastic. Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone. The leads in the movie, Damien Chazelle, who directed Whiplash, directed this. It's very much old-timey sort of Hollywood, Gene Kelly, Fred Astaire kind of musicals where, you know, I mean, there's one part where they're at a planetarium and they suddenly start dancing amongst the stars. It's that kind of movie, but brilliantly done. Both the leads, I think Emma Stone should win Best Actress. She's got an 11th hour song. 11th hour song is basically a big number near the very end of the show. Broadway terminology, sorry. But, I mean, I rolled a tear. It was stunning. Great music across the board from start to finish. Great dancing. Ryan Gosling apparently did all the piano playing on his own through the whole film. Very much worth seeing. Like I said, my pick for Best Picture. I'm not sure if they're going to go with 10 nominees or not this year, like they sometimes do. If they do, then Deadpool could be looking at an Oscar nomination for Best Picture. Not that I'd have nothing wrong with that. The 10 nominees obviously stemmed from 2008 when Dark Knight did not get a nod for Best Picture. Although most people thought that it should because it was arguably one of the best movies of the year. And anybody who's still saying that Heath Ledger only won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor because he overdosed, fuck you. That's not the case. There was only one other performance in 2008 that would have been worthy of Best Supporting Actor, and that would have been Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder. But Heath Ledger, I mean, I could do an entire episode on just Heath Ledger as the Joker. Knockout performance across the board. No chance in a fart in a hurricane's chance that he would not have won that award, living or dead. Anyway, don't want to dwell on that too much. But what am I going to do next? Oh, nuts. Brain fart. Blu-ray releases. I got a small list here of upcoming Blu-ray titles that are coming out in the next couple of months. Some confirmed, some not. You know how it is. It's usually 4 months turnaround between theatrical and DVD release anyway nowadays. Or less in some cases. January 23rd, so I'll start with this week coming up. Inferno, which is the Dan Brown novel, Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons' third movie with Tom Hanks and Felicity Jones from Rogue One. That's coming out on the 23rd, and Light Between the Oceans with Fassbender is also coming out this week. January 30th, Boo, A Medea Halloween. God, Tyler Perry at his best again. That was apparently a movie that somebody made a joke, and he was like, fuck it, I can make a movie about that, and did. And it actually made some pretty good money at the box office, ironically enough. I'm not the demographic those films are shooting for. I don't pretend to be. But, hey, for those people who like those movies, giddy up, it's coming out. Jack Reacher 2, also the same day, January 30th. Tom Cruise. I heard the sequel wasn't as good as the first one, but, I mean, it's Tom Cruise, he can usually knock a movie out of the park, no problem. February 6th, Justice League Dark animated film is coming out. If anyone who likes the DC animated universe. This one looks to be very dark, obviously, because of the title. Loving with Joel Edgerton and Ruth Negga is coming out. The period piece where The white guy married to a black woman in a time when that was completely frowned upon. Apparently very strong performances by both actors in that movie. Trolls, the animated film, also coming out on the 6th. I think Justin Timberlake was one of the voices in that. A bunch of other people singing and dancing, trolls and stuff like that. So if the kids like that sort of stuff, then giddy up. The Arrival on February 13th. Edge of 17 with Haley Stanfield, and Woody Harrelson was also in that movie. And Bleed for This with Miles Teller, the boxing movie, is coming out the 13th. February 20th, Bad Santa 2, which I wanted to see in the theaters but never did. Ben-Hur, the remake, which, oh boy, it was same dude that made Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, which I thought it was a decent movie. This, I've seen reviews, and they said the minute that Morgan Freeman shows up in dreadlocks, the movie just goes right down the slope. Hacksaw Ridge coming out the 20th. Jason Bourne, the 5th, I guess if you count the Jeremy Renner one. 5th Bourne movie. Saw that last summer. It was okay. A little slow, a little bit boring actually for an action movie. But I mean, there was a big demand for Matt Damon to come back and take over the role again after the Bourne movie that Hawkeye did, Renner did. Manchester by the Sea, which I am actually going to be watching later on today probably. And Nocturnal Animals, again with Amy Adams. And Snowden with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, the Oliver Stone film. It's coming out the 20th. So that's a big day. Wallet's going to be hurting. February 27th, Doc Strange 3D. Can't wait. Day one purchase for me. Loved that movie. Benedict Cumberbatch knocked it out of the park. And Allied with Brad Pitt and Marion Cotillard, which apparently was the reason why Angie and Brad broke up, because she thought he was messing around with her with Cotillard. No proof that ever happened, but I'm not going to get into the TMZ sort of aspect of this stuff anyway. March 6th is Moana with the animated one with The Rock. Getting good box office, good songs, and great animation apparently in it. Haven't seen it yet, but anyways. And Jackie with Natalie Portman playing Jackie Onassis, Kennedy's wife. April, there's no set dates yet, but Rogue One and La La Land should be hitting shelves in April for purchase. Rogue One will be 3D. La La Land, I will be definitely picking up on Blu-ray. Like I said, I loved that movie. Thought it was brilliant. Yeah, so that's basically it for the next month or so-ish. Obviously, as new releases get announced, I'll be adding them on in upcoming episodes. And yeah, so last part of the show for today. I'm not going to make it a long one today, not like the last one where I was rattling on for about an hour. Something that came up was, obviously I spoke last episode about Carrie Fisher passing away, and immediately Disney was in damage protection mode trying to figure out what are they going to do for the next Star Wars movie, because apparently she had finished shooting all of her footage for episode 8, but they were still wanting to use her in a big way in episode 9. So with the advent of Rogue One, obviously with CGI Peter Cushing and Carrie Fisher at the end of the movie, there was immediate speculation that they were going to do a CGI entirely Carrie Fisher, General Leia for episode 9. I was not on board with this idea from the get-go. I don't think that it's a necessity. I think you could very easily, despite the fact you wanted to use her in a big way in the last movie, you could write her out of the entire trilogy with one line of dialogue in the crawl in episode 9. Just be like, General Organa has died. In her passing, the Resistance is in huge disorder, and they're looking to Luke to try to lead the way and everything else. So then there was the good old guys on Collider decided that instead of doing CGI, they should just recast the role. Oh my god. Like, no. Yeah, they literally thought that Lucasfilm should recast Princess Leia. Some of the suggestions that came up were Meryl Streep or Sally Field. It's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. No. You cannot recast a role like that. I mean, it's bad enough that we've been recasting Bond for generations. Superman getting recast, Batman getting recast. That's one thing. Recasting a role like this, you can't do it. You just can't do it. Like I said, they should just write her out somehow. Do the right thing, Lucasfilm. Sounds like they are. They actually released a statement saying they have no intention whatsoever of doing a CGI Carrie Fisher for Episode 9 out of respect for what she's brought to the franchise over 40 years. And apparently they were in discussions with her estate as to whether or not they should do it or not. And it sounds like it's not going to happen. I certainly hope they don't recast the damn role, because that would just be stupid. I would boycott it. It's Star Wars, for crying out loud. I'm going to be there the first day with bells on for Episode 8. But, I mean, let's just leave it where it is. Yeah. Some other news on the movie front is there is a rumor circulating online that somebody knows somebody who saw Wonder Woman, the new DC movie that's coming out in June, and weren't that impressed with it. Apparently it's got a lot of the same problems that Batman v Superman, the theatrical edition, had, where it's just huge gaps of logic in the narrative flow of the movie and just a train wreck altogether, which really doesn't bode well for DC. They had basically Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman underperformed massively at the box office. Batman v Superman did not even crack $1 billion, which the Warner execs were thinking it was going to be like lights out, money just flowing in kind of thing, but never happened. Suicide Squad also, lots of complaints about that. One guy apparently wanted to sue Warner Brothers because the Joker was only in it for about 10 minutes of the movie, and he drove 3 hours to the nearest multiplex to go see the movie and thought that he'd been cheated out of his money. The problem being is if Wonder Woman bombs, that's really not going to help Justice League, which comes out in November. If Wonder Woman bombs, there's going to be a very sour taste in a lot of the fans' mouths for the DC movies. Man of Steel, even, there were a lot of complaints about that one when it first came out, about all the collateral damage and destruction that was caused by Superman. Very different from the Chris Reeve days, where Zod would be like heat visioning the city, and Superman's first reaction would be, think of the people, don't do it. But yeah, I mean, if Wonder Woman tanks really hard, then it's gonna, I mean, there's some people saying they're gonna reboot the entire universe and start over from scratch again. I don't think that'll be necessary, but it's weird, like the DC TV shows like Flash, Arrow, Legends, Supergirl even, are good. Nobody really complains too much about them. They're fun little compartmentalized hours of entertainment. The movies, on the other hand, just haven't seemed to be able to hit their stride for some reason. But then you look at the Marvel universe, and quite honestly, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I kind of watched that for the first 2 seasons and have kind of tapered off. I've watched a couple episodes here and there in this new season. But, I mean, not a great show, not a terrible show, but not like an outstanding show. But then at the same time, the Marvel movies are just killing it every time they come out. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, nobody thought, even when that came out, my wife was like, what the hell is the Guardians of the Galaxy? There's a fucking talking raccoon. And went and saw it, and she loved it. Doc Strange, she loved it. I mean, they're just great movies across the board. They've got stellar casting. I mean, I'm not saying that Ben Affleck's a shitty actor or Henry Cavill's a shitty actor by any means, but I mean, they're picking like little-known directors. Like the guy that's directed Spider-Man: Homecoming. His only feature to date was the Kevin Bacon flick Cop Car, which I want to see because apparently it's really good. The Russo brothers, I mean, before they did Captain America, they were directing like episodes of Community on TV. But Marvel seems to have the recipe it needs to knock every one of these movies out of the park. Like Civil War was probably one of the best movies I saw in 2016. DC, on the other hand, they're just treading water. They just can't seem to get the traction they need, despite having basically the same barn of characters they can pick from that Marvel has. I mean, the DC universe and the Marvel universe, there's lots of similarities between them somewhere or other. And I don't know. Maybe it's got to do with the script. Maybe it's got to do with the directing. I mean, a lot of people don't like Zack Snyder's directing because it's just too frenetic and crazy. But, you know, hopefully the whole rumor about Wonder Woman being a bomb is just that, a rumor. I mean, as a comic book fan, I don't really pick sides. I'm neither Marvel nor DC. I mean, look at my outfit right now. I've got a Captain America hoodie and I'm wearing a Superman t-shirt underneath it. So, I mean, I'm one of those guys, if they're going to put out a good comic book movie, I'm going to go see it. I don't give a damn if it's Marvel or DC or whatever. If it entertains me and it's got a lot of action and humor and good acting and well directed and a good story, bring it on. Yeah, so that's probably going to be it for today. Looking at probably about a half an hour so far. Dogs are upstairs being quiet for once, which is nice. I'm going to try to do another episode without a 2-week break. We'll see how that goes. Obviously working lots at work and stuff going on there and everything else. So, yeah, that'll be it for today. I'm going to probably try to post another video in the next week or so. I'm going to try to get a couple more screeners watched and be able to give you the 2 cents worth on that. But in the meantime, check out some of those movies I've mentioned today. La La Land especially, if you get a chance. It's in theaters right now. Silence, I think, is in limited release, opening wide in the next week or so. Moonlight, it's going to be hard to find because that's a very niche film. Arrival, I think, is already out of theaters. But like I said in the Blu-ray releases, a lot of this stuff is coming out before the Oscars even air. Oscars are February 28th, so if you're really jonesing to see any of these films, Hacksaw Ridge, Arrival, they will be on Blu-ray before the Oscars, but definitely check them out. All of them in their own right, in different ways, was a brilliant movie. But like I said, La La Land's my pick for Best Picture. Anyway, in the meantime, I'm going to sign off here. Look for a new episode soon. In the meantime, like, subscribe. I am on Facebook now if you look for 2 Drink Minimum. So I will be posting some various trailers. Like, I posted the Logan trailer. Oh my god, that looks good. Can't wait. March 3rd. If you haven't seen the Red Band Logan trailer, check it out. Wow, X-23, zing zing. Can't wait. So yeah, like, subscribe, tell your friends, check me out on Facebook, and comment below if you have any feedback on the show or anything like that. Obviously, I'm not drinking this episode because it's only 10 o'clock in the morning. I just had my coffee. So anyway, from somewhere in Ontario, thanks for watching. This has been an episode 9 of 2 Drink Minimum, and have a good one.